Episode 1 of The Dream Life of Mr. Kim begins with Kim Nak-soo made vice president at school to the wildly popular Park Young-tae. He's quite happy about it, but Kim is overshadowed by his brother back home. This desire to be better than his brother and actually be somebody meaningful has shaped his entire life and work ethic. We see this in the present where Kim Nak-soo is a successful corporate worker. He's determined to move up to become a managing director and then the executive board beyond. He has a wife called Ha-jin, whom he's not particularly grateful for, nitpicking her food and drink. His son Kim Soo-kwon is the polar opposite of his father. He's nonchalant to work, despite being clever and having some pretty big ideas of his own, while he's quite happy to just enjoy life as it comes. And Nak-soo is pressuring him to join the student marketer program while he's at uni as a way of bolstering out his resume. However, it's clear that that's not what Soo-kyun wants to do. At the campus, he bumps into Lee Han-na, an old friend from middle school. She left to go abroad back then, but she's back now. She wants to meet him again that night at 7 PM, and she scribbles down the address on his hand. Now, as we soon find out, Nak-soo works at a company called ACT, which specialises in telecommunications. It's a highly competitive, not to mention toxic, corporate landscape. Nak-soo has won a ton of awards for perfect sales, and he's also a rather respected general manager there. The sales team 2 general manager is a guy called Do Jin-woo, while the current managing director, and the man Nak-soo is vouching for the position from, is Jung-tae. Now, Nak-soo is obviously prestigious in his role, but his team arrive late most mornings and it doesn't reflect well on him. Conversely, Jin-woo's team are prepped and ready to go. Now, word of Nak-soo sniffing around the director's office that morning gets back to Jung-tae too, and unfortunately this puts Jin-woo in a much more favourable position for a potential promotion. Now, ACT is a ruthless company, and unfortunately they're not shy about transferring or pushing aside underperforming employees. One of those happens to be Ho Tae-hwan. He's been shipped out to Yeongdo in a month, and that's a shame because he's one of Nak-soo's friends at the company. Now, Tae-hwan is also a little scruffy, which is something that's the polar opposite of how Nak-soo presents himself. He's super conscious of his appearance and possessions. He's determined to try and impress the executives, and that includes buying a new bag and various other trinkets. Doing this though ironically flies in the face of Park Ha-jin, whom he's berated in the past for spending recklessly and getting a loan to try and help the family. Now, while all this is going on, Kim Soo-kwon heads out to the meet spot with Hana that night, which happens to be a big opening party for a high-flying guy called Jung Hwan. He's the CEO of Jealousy My Strength. He has big plans to make his company a success, but Soo-kwon questions the work ethic and position of the company. Naturally, Jung Hwan decides to badmouth Soo-kwon's family setup and his lack of success in life, snubbing his suggestions and forcing Soo-kwon to leave. Now, back home, Nak-soo is down in the dumps and drinks with Soo-kwon. The former admits he's jealous of his friend, who works as a landlord earning free money. Now, Soo-kwon bites back and tells him it's not that easy, but his father just doesn't listen. It's clear from this chat that Mr. Kim is very materialistic and only cares about success. This is what he believes greatness is, centered around buying an apartment, sending Soo-kwon to college, and surviving in his company for decades. Now, Soo-kwon though just wants to be somebody and make his mark in the world without living in his father's shadow. The next day is the big scheduled golf meet, where Nak-soo has to pick up Jin-woo and Jung-tae. He eventually finds the apartment, but he's pretty shocked by the price of it. And Nak-soo manages to do well at the golf tournament, winning star of the day for a hole-in-one, and even heading out for drinks with everyone afterwards. He's almost convinced he'll make executive and splashes out a lot of money for the night's antics. With the position seemingly in his grasp, Jung Sung-gu approaches Nak-soo at work with an issue. He's done the final checks and noticed something ambiguous. Now, the estimate for the Gangkwon Dream Cultural Center is a bit off. Now, the quote was based on Super Giga speed, but the area isn't actually covered just yet. They're getting the service in August, but they have to start the service next week. Nak-soo decides to push it ahead anyway, convinced that they won't be doing speed checks and they'll be able to skate through for a few months undeterred. This is not going to go well, is it? At work, Tae-hwan shows up and he doesn't look in a good state. He wants to speak to Jung-tae to try and get a better position, but Nak-soo is loath to do anything that could impact his director promotion. Tae-hwan admits he goes up and down manholes every day and he's scared of tight spaces. He's now realised that the company have no plan to send him out to Yeongdo, and all of this is just a ploy to force him into quitting. And Nak-soo loses his patience here and tells him that he's the real victim here rather than Tae-hwan, shunning his friend and telling him to leave. He basically tells Tae-hwan he's embarrassed by him, and it does the guy absolutely no favours. And just to make matters worse, Naksu also shuns a potential promotion for a hardworking employee in his team called Song Hee. Naksu thinks over the harsh words he said to Tae-hwan and decides to talk to Jong-tae after all. It turns out that the director is the one who made the final decision to cut Tae-hwan, but he didn't know that they treat him so harshly. Still, he won't back down on this decision and tells Naksu to handle this, otherwise it'll go against his promotion. Now as he heads out the office, a big announcement sees the parking lot shut down for a safety incident. Naksu receives a call and it confirms the worst. Tae-hwan has had a bad accident. So the first episode establishes Mr. Kim as a selfish, materialistic and insecure individual. He's a man who only really cares about the price tag in life and equates success with happiness and greatness. This is of course far from the truth in real life, and I think we're going to see a transformation for this guy across the season, turning him into a much more empathetic and well-rounded individual. I'm hoping that Kim's character growth will come after the shocking death of Tae-hwan, if he really is dead that is, and he'll use that as motivation to start helping his team rather than using them as a stepping stone. He doesn't really need the director job other than for the money, and it won't fill that gaping hole in his heart. We haven't seen a whole lot of the other characters just yet, but Sugwon has an interesting vibe that counteracts his father's, although he also wants to be somebody and fit into the world, so he does have that in common with Mr. Kim. Overall, this is a solid start for what should be an interesting K-drama. It is a bit of a tough sell to begin with, given that Mr. Kim is not very empathetic and difficult to warm to, but hopefully this arc of going from a villain to a hero should make for a fascinating watch going forwards. Let's hope that the show keeps up this momentum in the episodes ahead. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.